In the shadow before all shadows, before thrones rose or stars bore names, there was only chaos, a yawning void, a breathless hush where all things might one day take shape. And within that fathomless stillness, the first to stir was Gaia. But who is Gaia? Why has her name dimmed in the telling of myths? And why now, in this age of forgetting, might she be more vital than ever? Welcome to the forbidden book, Gaia. Before the heavens held their sovereigns, before kings laid claim to dust and dominion, there was Gaia. She did not descend on golden chariots from the sky, nor was she sculpted by divine hand. She simply was, a rising whole. From the nameless murk of primal void, from chaos came others, Tartarus, the sunless pit beneath all things, and Eros, the primal yearning, not Cupid the playful, but desire itself, the ancient gravity binding being to being. Gaia did not rule a domain, she was the domain. The hills, valleys, mountains, these were her bones and breath. Yet the world was silent, still and hollow. So Gaia turned inward, and from the boundlessness of herself, she drew forth Aurons, the sky, a dome of stars stretching endlessly above. Whether he was born of her body or summoned by will, no poet knows. Only that he came, he covered her, and became her lover, her mirror, her first sorrow. Creation stirred again. From her rose Urea, the mountains, vast ribs of earth, and Pontus, the sea, encircling the land like a sacred memory. Rivers became her veins, forests, her flesh, the wind, her breath. The world now had form, but not yet soul. So Gaia and Uranos brought forth life, the Titans, shapers of time and stone, the Cyclopes, smiths with a single blazing eye, and the Hecatonchires, hundred-handed, beings of unfathomable force. It should have been a golden age, but in myth, as in truth, creation bears a cost. Gaia had given all, soil for the footstep, river for the thirst, sky for the dream. But to bring forth is not to command. Auranos, who should have been her equal, turned to tyrant. He looked upon the children, those mighty titans, those giant forgers, those monstrous sons, and saw not renewal, but rebellion. They were too wild, too strong, too free. So he thrust them back into Gaia herself, into the black of Tartarus, sealing them within her womb. Gaia, Earth herself, became their prison. She felt their fists beating beneath the mountains, heard their roars echo through the stone, suffered their rage in her very skin. She did birth the world, and now the world rebelled against her. But she did not weep. She forged. From the unyielding adamant, she shaped a sickle, curved and keen. She placed it into the hand of her son, Kronos, and whispered, "Strike, and sever us from the sky." And Kronos obeyed. When Uranos descended once more to cloak the land, Kronos leapt from the shadows, and with a single stroke, he cut the heavens from the earth. From the bleeding of his father sprang the Furies, spirits of vengeance, the giants, born to battle the gods, and Aphrodite, goddess of love, beauty, and delight, rising not from womb, but from sea and blood. Gaia was free, or so she believed, but the war between earth and sky had only begun. Kronos ascended, and with the throne inherited his father's dread. The prophecy echoed, one day his own child would cast him down. So Kronos chose fear over love, and swallowed each of his children at birth, believing that if their feet never touched the soil, his rule would never fall. He thought himself safe. But Gaia had seen this tale. She had watched one son bury her children. Now she watched another consume them. If Kronos would not listen, perhaps another would. She came to Rhea, his sorrowful wife, and offered a plan. When the sixth child was born, Rhea hid the infant, Zeus, and offered a swaddled stone in his place. Kronos devoured the decoy. Zeus, hidden in a cave in Crete, was nourished by the goat Amalthea, and shielded by the clashing shields of the Curetes, who masked his cries with warlike rhythm. In secret, he grew. And when he returned, it was not as a child, but as a storm. With the cunning of Metis, goddess of wisdom, Zeus gave Kronos a potion. One by one, the swallowed gods returned. Poseidon, Hades, Demeter, Hera, Hestia, reborn, vengeful, divine. War erupted. But Gaia, who had watched empires crumble, knew might alone would not triumph. She led Zeus to her forsaken children, the Cyclopes and the Hecatoncheires, still chained in the abyss. Zeus descended, shattered their bonds, and in return received their gifts, the thunderbolt, Poseidon's trident, and Hades' helm of invisibility. Armed with these, the gods rose. The Titanomachy tore the heavens. When Zeus stood victorious, Gaia brought him to the throne. But once he sat upon it, he turned away. She who had borne him was no longer needed. She should have known. Gaia had tasted betrayal too many times. Uranus had buried her sons. Kronos had devoured them. Zeus had cast them into shadow. Again and again, she watched the cycle. This time, she would not whisper. This time, she would not warn. She would fight. If Olympus would not free her children, she would raise others. From the bowels of the earth, Gaia summoned the giants, monstrous beings with serpent legs and eyes of flame. To the gods, they were beasts. To Gaia, they were sacred vengeance. Each one towered beyond mortals, shaped from stone and wrath, rising to shake the silver halls of Olympus. But Gaia remembered the old law. No god could slay a giant alone. It must be a mortal hand that struck the final blow. The gods, as always, rewrote the order. They summoned Heracles, half man, half god, bearer of brute destiny. The giants fell, crushed beneath mountains, pierced by divine fire, hurled into the chasms. The war was long, savage, without pity. Olympus prevailed, Gaia lost. Yet she had not yielded. If the gods feared giants, they would tremble before what came next. Deep within the darkness, Gaia united with Tartarus, the abyss itself. From that dread union rose Typhon, father of monsters, embodiment of ruin. His head brushed the stars. Serpents writhed from his shoulders. His arms spanned the horizon. His voice shattered sky. Zeus wavered. Typhon stormed across the world, flame swallowing light, rage casting the gods into panic. Apollo became a crow, Ares a boar, Dionysus a goat. They fled in terror. Only Zeus remained. Lightning met fire, sky met storm. But Typhon was power incarnate. He tore the sinews from Zeus and cast him down. For a breathless moment, Gaia had won. But she should have known. Zeus returned, not as king, but as warrior broken and burning. He took up the thunderbolt and struck, again and again, until Typhon fell. The gods buried him beneath Mount Etna. His fury still pulses, each tremor, each eruption, a whisper of a war that nearly ended the sky. All things end, even storms, even gods. Gaia, weary and worn, had no more to give. The giants were gone, her sons entombed. The gods had won. So Gaia did what she has always done. She endured. She let them build palaces upon her skin. She let them etch their glory into her bones. She let them believe they had conquered her. She did not whisper. She did not bear new warriors. But she remained. She always remains. For though gods may reign from heights, they still walk upon her. And if Gaia has learned one truth in all the turning of the ages, it is this: no throne lasts forever. Thank you for staying with us through the echoes of forgotten legends, where Gaia isn't just the earth, but a reminder that no power stands forever. If this myth moved you, if you felt the rumble beneath Olympus and the heartbeat of something ancient, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support keeps these stories alive and helps new seekers find their way. Until the next myth finds you, this was The Forbidden Book.